What it do, everybody? It's your boy King Crowder back again with another edition of History You May Not Know and Things That Are Not Taught in Detail for Sure. Today's lesson, we will focus on the great state of Georgia and the beautiful city of Atlanta. Did you know that Atlanta had its own ethnic cleansing that happened? Did you know that this racial riot displaced many property and sparked the ingoing of the civil rights movement during the era of Jim Crow? Between September 24th and September 26th of 1906, white mobs killed over dozens of black Atlantans, wounding the score and inflicting considerable property damage during their act of ethnic cleansing, they're known as the Atlanta Race War. I'm going to talk about this series, breaking it down, what happened. We got to go ahead and break down the history of Atlanta. Atlanta, by the year 1880s, became a hub of regional economic development, especially for black Americans. The black population of Atlanta was 9,000 back in 1880, then jumped up 15 years later to almost triple that amount. Almost 40,000 black Atlanta and black Americans moved to Atlanta, where they had their own Black Wall Street, Black Hub, and at the height of innovation. Many white leaders around this time did not understand how they could limit the black population and restrict them working class people going into it. The issue became when we could begin to see relationships socially and intimately being intertwined. Remember, Jim Crow was still heavy around this time. There was a huge separation of whites and black in transportation, living, and how we should go. The emerging black elites of Atlanta began to push back the envelope, especially during the era of Reconstruction. Black men gained the right to vote, political obstacles in the ran, and they began to open their own small businesses. They had their own networks, communities, education, wealth, and prestige. They began to distance themselves from the black working class, from the black man, where they began to see a hierarchy system. Meanwhile, the poor whites did not understand how these so-good Negroes, as they called them, began to get rude towards their women and rude towards others in that area. Black salon goers began to see a rise in crime, mostly from white women, and violence against black Americans. So, in 1906, a race card was placed fear on the black upper class, leading in months before the August election. It was a gentleman named Hokie Smith, a former publisher of the Atlanta Journal, and Clark Howard, an editor of the Constitution, where they made influential sparking remarks saying, hey, we must keep Atlanta safe from these uppity Negroes. They are in a position right now where they can overtake the city. Most people don't realize that Howe was a Democratic representative. If you do not know the history of the Democrats, those were the Dixiecrats and the ones seeking oppression at this time in history. Most blacks were Republicans due to their religions, upbringing, and very strict social status, how they like to be. Smith emphasized that they should be separate and how we should not interact with each other. He made political agendas, outlining statements, and made accusations of assault by white women by black men. He sparked the interest of hatred, sparked a bum rush on the movement, and made poor working class whites want to go against the uppity blacks to let them know what they deserve. On the afternoon of Saturday, September 22nd, the Atlanta newspaper reported four false allegations against local white women. None of these accusations were true. They stirring out these movements by saying inflammatory language and made thousands of white men and boys gathered in downtown to protest. The mayor at this time, James G. Woodard, sought to calm the crowd by saying, hey, none of these things are true. Everything that has been written is false information. What you're hearing is not accurate. However, by the early evening, the crowd became a mob. And from until midnight, they went through Decatur, Pryor Street, Central Ave, and all of the black businesses. They attacked the black businesses, smashed their windows, burned their barbershops, burned up their salons, hurt, damage all across the black residents at this time. The crowd got so bold that they began to break down streetcars, assault black men and women around this time, summoning all the way until midnight. The mob showed no sign of slowing down until heavy rain began to fall around 2 a.m. This was the control of the state militia. But you got to remember, on Sunday, September 23rd, the Atlanta newspaper reported that the mustering of the crowd control, they also reported blacks were no longer a problem because white knight made the city safe. The black elite class buildings were destroyed, displaced, and afterwards placed no repercussions. On that Monday, the 24th, a group of black Americans held a meeting in Brownsville in the community located 2 miles south of downtown in some historical black Clark College, later known as Clark Atlanta University. In a seminar, the group was heavily armed. When Fulton County police learned of the gathering, they feared a counterattack and launched a raid on Brownsville. Think about it. These black Americans moved to the university, armed themselves, wanted to have a conversation, and instead of the police protecting their building, they went right after the black Americans in that area. So what they did was that they moved to where the residents were at that university. They arrested over 300 black men, arrested them all, charged them with crime, and on Monday, Tuesday, city officials, businessmen, the press, all caught violence as a thriving image. They wanted to know that these black Americans were to be feared. They made sure the black elites got their issues berated all over. Mainstream media promoted their name, promoted their businesses, and showed how we should fear these black social divisions. Nothing was done to the white mob how to destroy their businesses. But the moment the blacks tried to mobilize and protect themselves, it became a national headline, newspaper, and ideology image. Most people have no idea that this made local and national news. What people do not realize is that after this incident, the black community, a depression of the economic and social factors. This called black suffrage and restriction of 1908, and many black leaders, including Booker T. Washington, had to give a new design leadership and spoke about how Little Atlanta was on the way of a right massacre. So we saw these crimes. We saw them how they bought the businesses, burned them down, and hurt them, even though a lie was made. No one was arrested on the white community side, and no one was ever sent to these crimes. The governor, the army, and the Georgia National Guard did not arrest any of them, and no national publication has held them accountable to this day. You must also understand, if you are in the city of Georgia or the state of Georgia, have you learned about this? Have you learned about this ethnic cleansing happening to one of your relatives probably in their businesses, and how they never got their just due? It's your boy, King Crowder. Hopefully you learned something today. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, comment, like on the video. Let me know if you want to learn or want me to break down something else. That's what I'm here for. But I'm here to teach us history so we don't repeat it and we learn from our previous lessons. Lies, deception, hierarchy all hurt us. In the end, it's your boy. Checking out. Peace.